So let's move on to our next P, price. Talk about what it is and then what you do with it. And we'll find that it's fairly complicated little bugger. So we're going to talk about definition and then just price does not happen in a vacuum, and talk about price relative to some of the other attributes that we deal with in marketing. Dictionary definition of price is the cost at which something is obtained. And that is a deceptively simple definition, but I'm going to stick with it. But cost is just something of value. So cost could be the money that you pay. Cost could be the time and effort that you spend trying to negotiate the transaction. It could be a non-financial exchange, some kind of a barter. But it's more than just, and then there's implicit and explicit costs. Implicit costs you're not aware of. Explicit costs are the ones that the search attributes. Implicit costs are experiential attributes. And then the something, what is a something? It could be either a product or a service, or it could be influence, just getting somebody to do what you want them to do. This gets a little bit beyond business. This is one of the areas where marketing is related to your life, not just to business, because getting people to do something you want is something that I would expend something of value for. And then you have to have a transaction in order to get it, which gets back to there needs to be two parties. There has to be voluntary participation. Each one has to have the authority to participate and the means to make the exchange. Business definition. The amount of money or other consideration which is exchanged or offered for a product. Okay, it's the same thing. One of the big, some people are born merchants and some people aren't. And one of the hardest things for people who are not born merchants is the concept that there is no such thing as a price that is too high. As long as there's voluntary participation, because nobody will ever pay more than what they think a product is worth. So if am I setting my price too high? Am I ripping off my customers? If the customers are willing to pay you what you're asking, that tells you that they see that much benefit in what you're offering. What's the problem? You can see I've got some non-merchants in the room that want to take issue with that. I just many years ago, our son was in junior high school, and at that time there was a game called Magic the Gathering that was one of those little card role-playing games. And we got a call from the school administration. They called us in and they said, "Did you know that your son has been trading these magic cards over the lunch table, and he's been clearing $200 a week?" And we said, "And the problem is?" Because he was taking advantage of the other students getting their money but they valued the magic cards. They didn't have to buy them. And it was a fun conversation because he wanted to open his store right after. I can't believe this, Dad. This is great. I want to open my store because I can sell them a lot cheaper than they sell them in the store. And then we had to talk about overhead. When you're not in the lunchroom, you have to pay rent, you have to pay employees, you have to pay taxes. It's not as easy to make a profit. So price, first and foremost, is the element of the marketing mix that determines how much money you make. Remember, the definition of profit is revenue minus expenses, or cost in this case. So revenue is the price equals revenue. Revenue is price times quantity, so price determines directly how much money you make.